So I've been thinking about a topic recently, and anybody who knows me personally is going to know that this is going to be a bit of a hypocritical topic, but I've been thinking about why. Why read? And take a moment to think, are you reading for the right reason or for the wrong reason? So recently, I had a really big urge to reread Stephen King's Dark Tower because I really like Stephen King's Dark Tower. But that's 8 books and about 4,300 pages, I think, which is a lot of book, right? And I have so many books that I've never read yet that I want to read. So why do a reread? Is my thinking in a way. But at the same time, these are books that I really liked, that I know I really liked. But it's also been so long that I definitely don't remember every detail. So why can't I bring myself to reread them? And that makes me think, maybe I don't actually like reading as much as I think I do, as I do finishing books. The act of finishing a book might be more gratifying to me than actually reading the book. Now, what do I mean by this? So think about it. I'm one of those people that sets up book goals every year, and usually that motivates me to read more, and it's like a fun little thing. I think last year I was like 3 or 4 books over my book goal even. So I think then that got me in this mindset of like dwelling on trying to finish a certain number of books, a certain number of new books, so I could go out and buy more new books, justify buying more new books. But I have so many books already, and I have books like these, like Dark Tower, that I remember reading in the past and thinking, oh, this is so good. But now, as an adult, with all these other books and my own big boy money to buy other books, I have a really hard time justifying rereading, which I don't know, seems a bit, what's the word? Not quite counterintuitive, but a bit reductive, I suppose, in a way. Like, if I remember loving these books so much, why is it such a struggle for me to go and reread them? And honestly, even though I have a bunch of books sitting around, I almost never reread a book at all. I just keep reading new books and buying new books, but I never reread the books that I really, really loved. Because maybe I'm overanalyzing myself here. I'm not a therapist, but maybe it's because what I'm not really getting the most satisfaction out of is the actual reading, but the goal at the end, the sense of accomplishment you get when you finish a book. And I think being able to take a step back and look at yourself and look at why you do the things you do for fun is important. I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, be mindful in everything you do, because that's overkill, I suppose, but it's good to look at yourself and your motivations and really say, am I doing this for the right reason? Am I doing this for a healthy reason? Now, I'm not saying there's something intrinsically unhealthy about like wanting to finish a book, but at the same time, I think that kind of defeats the purpose, The journey is better than the destination and all that sort of thing. And I'm not saying I don't enjoy the act of reading while I'm reading. Like, I'm not one of those people that just reads dialogue or like skips over the prose, but I think maybe personally myself, I'm focusing too much on the end and not the journey, as they say. So that's something maybe to keep in mind for yourself for anything. Are you enjoying the actual act of doing it? Or are you enjoying some chemical byproduct that comes of it? Which, yeah, I know everything creates some chemical byproduct. But I guess I mean, are you over reliant on that chemical byproduct? Like just today, we'll use today as an example. I finished one book, and then I immediately started and finished another book. And ever since then, I've kind of just been sitting around until I did this. Like, I don't know, I want to start another book, but why? That seems a little, I guess, unappreciative of the books I just read. Like, why am I not letting them sit and marinate and stew with them? Why am I immediately chomping at the bit to read another book? Because maybe what I'm looking for isn't reading, but finishing something. And obviously, you're not me, lucky for you. So your case is going to be different than my case. And my case may even be different than how I'm self-diagnosing myself, or whatever you want to call it. But I think another big factor is when you really look at it, there's so many books out there, and rereading is good in a way, and I definitely do want to reread, but at the same time it's kind of a rat race, I guess. You can never in your life, no matter what, even if all you did, however many, I can't do math right now, like 16 hours a day or whatever, so you get your 8 hours of sleep. All you did was read while you're in the bathroom, while you're eating, while you're cooking. You never talk to people, you never leave your house, you just sit and read 7 days a week, the rest of your life, from the time you're 10 to the time you're 90. You're never going to read every book written, and that's shitty, honestly, because there's so many good books, and you constantly hear, especially if you're on social media and Book Talk and BookTube and any book related anything, you're constantly going to hear about a new book that sounds interesting, or an author you like is going to put out something new, or you're going to want to reread a book. And I guess like anything in life, it's what you put into it that matters, and you have to be careful not to have too much of a good thing, I suppose, because too much of a good thing loops around again into a bad thing, like Gandhi from Civilization 1. So be mindful, be careful, because too much sugar rots your teeth, I guess, is what I'm saying. And also what I'm saying is take a step back once in a while in your life and look at what you're doing and saying, is this still good? Is this still fun? Or am I doing this because it's a routine, or it feels comfortable? And have I maybe kind of warped the original point of this? Not saying I'm ever going to stop reading, and not saying or saying that you should stop reading, I guess, but I think you should, again, I'm going to say it, I've said it probably like 18 times, be mindful in what you do in your free time. Because if you are like me, an adult, working a full 40-hour plus week, you really don't have a lot of free time in the grand scheme of things. So don't do things that impact you negatively. Do things that impact you positively, help you grow. Stupid guru junk like that. And it's okay to reread a book now and then. And it's okay to, if you're not feeling it, not read any specific day. Because if you force yourself, once again, you're harming yourself. And I can already tell I'm talking in circles again. So if you listen to this whole thing, thank you. And hopefully I helped you perhaps also kind of consider taking a step back and looking, because you are the closest person to yourself, which means it's the easiest to see your flaws and it's also the hardest to see your flaws. So, thank you.